I don't even know how I'm going to do this analysis. I feel like I'm just going to fall into the same pitfalls. Hey, good evening. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we're going to be listening to Tommy Johansson perform The Joy of Christmas. So, it's been a minute since we've covered Tommy on the channel. Not terribly long, but long enough that he's been requested again, and this particular request is from Iris, and I'm deeply appreciative for you donating to the channel, so this one's for you. But I'm really excited to jump into this. As I've mentioned, it's been a minute since we've listened to Tommy, and I'm just excited to get the ball rolling with him again. I think he's a wonderful musician and very skilled and knowledgeable, and 'tis the season for some Christmas joy. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are as well. So without any further delay, let's jump into it.
Another night of walking late for this cold, heartless man. They say his heart is filled with loneliness and filled with hate. All this time.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love that opening sequence. It's so nice. So just the fact that we start immediately with this delicate piano line, it immediately establishes the tone of the piece, which is lovely. And then he comes in with this mezzo piano or medium soft volume with this nice lyric quality to his voice, or the soft velvety texture to his voice. It's just lovely. And you can feel this ebb and flow in the dynamics as well. You're not quite making it up to a mezzo forte, but you just feel within this mezzo piano range this gentle increase and decrease in the volume. It just small increments, but it allows the piece to flow so much cleaner. And his diction is so clean too. And just the fact that he comes into the next cadential phrase with a glottal, adding a little bit more emphasis on that starting word of the next phrase. You can feel a little bit more of the intensity leading into the next phrase, and it's just constantly building, and it's just so well performed just in these first few moments.
They say his heart is filled with loneliness and filled with hate. All this time I wondered how it could have been if someone knew just what he needed and took away his act of greed. Of all these years
Oh my gosh, having the D from greed end and just let it fly for a little bit, and then immediately coming back down into the next cadence and making it feel so seamless. Ah, mwah. Chef's kiss, dude.
If someone knew just what he needed and took away his act of greed. Of all these years I spent on working for that stubborn man, I realized that wealth and fortune can't bring you all. I can't imagine how his life now could have been if someone took his hand and said, I'll be your friend.
Oh, that retard was wonderful.
If someone took his hand and said, I'll be your friend. If he only knew the feeling of coming home to the...
Yeah, and you could just feel a little bit more of his belt here, a little bit more of his chest coming through. The dynamic obviously increasing a little bit more. We're more in this mezzo forte, near forte range, and you could just feel this constant pressure being built in the emotional core of the piece, in his voice, in the flow of the piece. It's just wonderful.
The feeling of coming home to those that you are holding close. This day is so much more than being all alone.
That slide, dude. Then be Oh my gosh.
Than being all
Ah.
alone. I wish the joy of Christmas. I wish that joy would come to you. Here I am.
Ah, that cutoff was so nice.
Joy would come to you. Here I am with my
love that.
loving family. They make me feel like I'm the richest man. So constantly.
Ah. Just utilizing the CH from reach and connecting it into the following words. It's so, so good. I love it when the words themselves not only feel like their own words and have their own value, but are able to connect into the long form of the phrase. It's not just about the individual, it's about the teamwork of each individual note, each individual word being utilized to form something much greater. Music itself feels like a superorganism in that way, and it's just wonderful.
Make me feel like I'm the richest man. So constantly, I can't imagine how my life then would have been if no one had ever taken my hand and said, forever I'm your friend. If we only knew the feeling of coming home through doors that you are holding close. This day is so much more than being all alone.
Just maintaining that same slide into it, then being. Oh my gosh, he's so consistent throughout the piece, but you can feel the emotional ebb and flow constantly getting stronger, constantly flowing more and more in this upward trajectory. It's kind of like the stock market in that way, where it's constantly going up and down and you feel that ebb and flow of it, but overall it trends upward until obviously the very end of the piece, where it no longer fits this metaphor. But it's just wonderful.
There is so much more than being all alone. I wish the joy of Christmas would find its way to you. See now that man, I know he can change a different person. When you find love, that's where you'll find Christmas inside your heart. It's time to not make amends, to tell.
Oh my gosh, dude. So it is very, very difficult to sing a series of notes that are the same note at a very similar dynamic while still making it engaging for your audience. Because if you sing a note that is the same note throughout a measure at a similar volume, it's going to feel banal to some extent. And the way to ensure that your audience doesn't become bored in that particular way is by putting out directly to your audience what the emotional core of it is that you're singing. And the beautiful thing about it is that it didn't come out of nowhere. It's been constantly building throughout the piece, and it finally shown its true colors in this bridge here, where you really feel that emotional core on full display, where you feel that series of notes, but it's not about that series of same notes. It's about feeling in this moment. And you really do get that impact that Tommy is trying to convey here, especially when he does start alternating, because now we're really in the mix of his voice. We're not just in his chest voice, but in his mix. And you feel that coming out, not in some powerful full force, but with just enough intensity that this piece is calling for. This definitely feels like this is the real powerful climax of the piece, and you feel it in this bridge, and it's wonderful.
I know he can change a different person. When you find love, that's where you'll find Christmas inside your heart. It's time to not make amends, to tell all my friends and go on into the world and
Beautiful
sing of the
belt.
joy that Christmas can bring.
Oh, and that fall off, lovely. Yeah, this is great. Just having that first part of the piano solo, not have any sustain pedal, just have these beautiful ornamentations in the melodic line, and just have it be flowing so intrinsically. And then the sustain pedal coming in when the block chords come in the second half of the piano solo. It just works so well. It's built beautifully. It's just textbook.
I wish it only had known.
Ooh, way to slow it down there. Love that.
I wish it only had known the feeling of having someone close, not being all alone. If we only
Love that.
knew the feeling of coming home to those that you are holding close.
His vibrato is like butter, dude. It's just so smooth.
Knew the feeling of coming home to those that you are holding close. This day is so much more than me all alone.
I love the way he approached that line. Instead of immediately going into the vowel on a higher note, he just took his time with it too, creating something audibly new, something that he hasn't introduced so far in the piece. Even though the vocal line itself is very similar to everything that we've already experienced in the piece, he adds a little bit of difference to the notes themselves, but in how he approaches it as well. And it's just so dazzling, and it keeps you engaged as an audience member. I love that.
Holding close, this day is so much more than me all alone. I wish the joy of Christmas would find its way back to you.
The feeling of his voice ending in the piece itself ending, it's just very bittersweet, you know. It feels like a really good story, and this is something I love about music in general, but especially with Tommy in this case, which is it has a definitive ending. Music is, in a certain key sense, is perennial, but when you're experiencing music for the first time, it's a very ephemeral situation and experience. And when you first engage with the music, you feel it out, you try to understand what it is you're about to experience, then you really get into the piece depending on if the music really connects with you, and then you just let it take you, you let it flow with you, and it becomes a whole sensational experience beyond the audible. But it's almost as though you can see, you can touch, you can experience firsthand the world that the artist is building. And in the moment the artist touches you back down into yourself, back into reality, it's a very bittersweet feeling because you loved being in that stimulated state of their world. But now you can reflect on it, see how that music made you feel. And that's something I love about storytelling so much, which is there is a definitive ending. And yes, it sucks that it ended and you're no longer in that world, but you got to experience brilliance. You got to experience a masterpiece in another person's mind, in the way somebody wanted to convey something really important, a piece of themselves to you. And that's just such a beautiful element of humanity, in my opinion. So, Tommy, great job. I loved listening to this. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I may not hard to reply to all of them, so please know your comments do not go unnoticed. My live streams are currently Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is what they are presently, and that is subject to change, but keep that in mind. And I would love to be there for you guys. I want to take this time to appreciate all of you for being here watching these videos. Whether you're on my Patreon or you're subscribed to me or you're not subscribed and you just enjoy watching these videos, I deeply appreciate you being here. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Iris, for donating and recommending this video. I obviously loved it. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.